What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of La Banca Podcast in English. I'm your host, Mark, aka Marquinho, aka Eche Segovia, alongside two of my other co-hosts, Aurelio. What's going on, bud?
Nothing, man. Glad to be back. Had some technical difficulty last week, so we got all that sorted out. So ready to go.
I know we missed you last time, man. We missed you. Fidel, what's going on, bro?
Yo, Aurelio's not MIA no more, bro. So we're gonna get this show started. Let's go. So Mary Campos, let's go, baby. Let's go. Get on. Come on.
Yeah, man. I see our boy Sama on there in the chat. What's up, bro? Everything all good. We hope to get you on video one of these days. You know, it's gonna be a long summer. We'll get into that a little later, but it's gonna be a long summer. We're gonna need some help, and we're looking forward to having you on the show one of these days, man. But yeah, man. With that being said, obviously, let's carry on with the show, man. First things first, man. Trophies. In soccer, what's more glorious than lifting up a trophy with your fellow peers, your fellow teammates, accomplishing a feat where, you dominated a tournament and you dominated that opponent. And at the end of the day, you lift up that trophy that just, that just recognizes all the blood, sweat, and tears you went through to win that said trophy, right?
Hey, but let me stop you right there. What a great feeling just to get to a finals, right? Now, wait. Let me say this again. What a great feeling just to get to two finals. Chelsea, let's go. How about that?
I see our boy Fidel's a little salty, but regardless, FA Cup finals, man. Leicester City versus Chelsea Blues. Kind of a first half. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit of a boring game, but man, 1-0 Leicester City lifting up the cup. A golazo by his name just left me. I just had it right here. You see Telsman, the Belgium kid.
Yes.
What a goal. Congratulations to Leicester City, their second major trophy in the last 5 years. Obviously, they won the Premier League in the 2015 and that unprecedented run that they had with Jamie Vardy, Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante as their leaders in that 2015 squad. Dude, obviously, I'm gonna go with you first, Fidel. I'm sure you watched the game with close eyes. Obviously, you're Chelsea. They're one of two finals that they're participating in this season. Obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted, man. But what do you take from it? Do you think Tuchel learns from this mistake and maybe changes the formation up a little bit for their next final?
Man, you know what? It should have been one of those things where you could have gone to the Champions League a little bit more relaxed, And I say this because think about it, right? We are fighting Champions League qualifications right now, regardless of anything that you can say, because the league is really tight. Yeah, one more game left, and we have to win this game, right? Secondly, we didn't win this FA Cup, so that puts us in a very tough position, right? And then thirdly, we're going to a Champions League final. So what do? There's a lot of speculations of people saying, no, you got to rest players, you got to sit people, you're not at your best here and there. I get it. But as a Chelsea fan, man, I'm just glad we're in this all together. And what do I mean by that? Okay, we're fighting a position for champions. We're in the FA Cup final, and now we're in the Champions League final. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, guys, win or lose, we're here. We're fighting for something every single day. When's the last time you seen Chelsea fight for something every single day? For fighting for a position in Champions League for the final year, for fighting for an FA Cup for this year, for fighting for a Champions League. I mean, it's never been heard of. So just to get here is an accomplishment. So far, there's nothing that I can't say that I'm not proud of Chelsea so far. And I can tell you one thing, man, Tuchel, you're an angel sent from God, bro. Literally, because what we've been living with regardless of what's happened in the past, even with the right intentions, it wasn't the right thing for us, because this amount of talent that Chelsea has is for greatness, and there's nothing else to be said about that. So it does hurt, but at the same time, it gives us that extra push to say, you know what, we don't have the title or any titles yet, and we haven't won anything yet. And yet we have two more challenges. One, to stay on top so that we can go into Champions League next year. And two, to win the Champions League this year. If you ask me, what do I want to really go for? Forget about Champions League next year. Let's go win the Champions League this year, because
Well,
just to get to a final is hard enough. It's hard.
Well, you kill two birds with one stone if you win the Champions League final because you qualify for Champions next year if you win the Champions League. But you know what? The funny thing is, obviously, Chelsea lost the FA Cup, but then on the weekend they go and they beat Leicester City to help themselves stay in that battle for Champions League next season because there's a battle in the Premier League for those last two Champions League spots, and we'll get to that here in a bit. But sticking with the FA Cup final, Aurelio, Leicester City, man. Leicester City obviously is not one of those clubs that's considered the Big Six. We know who the Big Six are or who we think they're supposed to be, right? What do you think about, a club like Leicester City within the last 5 years? They've really come out of nowhere, and really been steadily growing and moving on up and the food chain as far as English football. I mean, they're one of the big teams now, going into 2022.
I wouldn't say they're one of the big teams. I think they've done their things right. When they first came up, all their players that they bought, the players that they sold, they reinvested that money correctly. So I think they're doing the right thing the right way. And they have to keep this consistently for, if you want to say, you have to put them at least another 5 or 10 years to be considered, I guess, one of the big ones in English football. But what they've done, it's remarkable. It's good. I'm like, good management, good coaching, and just they're picking players that are working for their system, and you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see that big star player. I mean, Jamie Vardy has created a name for himself, obviously, with what he's accomplished. But aside from Vardy, I mean, you don't have a superstar player. You don't have
they sold him.
It's funny because I was watching the match and I had my wife next to me, and and obviously I was rooting for Leicester City. I'm not gonna lie, no hate. London's always gonna be red, so any London team can get it right. So man, Casper Schmeichel, that save, what a save! That man right there was he's man of the match for me. Great goalkeeping, because obviously Chelsea was attacking. They had the ball, they had the threat, they had the players to get on the offensive and try to win this final. But that wall named Schmeichel wasn't allowing it. Not that day.
Well, to a certain extent, you gotta give up, right? I mean, you're trying so hard. And let's be realist about this. Soccer is about accepting things. If things are not happening for you, they're not happening for you. And so sometimes, whether it's a final, regular season game, or whatever it is, it's just what it is. I've had teams where they've hit the pole, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and they've taken 20 shots or plus on a goal, and the ball still doesn't go in. So at the end of the day, it's like you may call it luck, you may call it unfortunate, or whatever you might want to call it, unlucky, as the English will say. But it's a final, man, and that's what's beautiful about soccer. That things will happen to talk about, right? So that we can be talking about this, and that we can be saying, "Hey, man, this happened or this game, that was amazing." That could have turned things around completely, right? But it didn't happen. So at the end of the day, we're talking about what just happened, and it's reality. It's accepting reality, and we just got to move on. Champions League is coming up. Let's go.
Well, speaking of Champions League, man, and speaking of Leicester City and Chelsea, the next topic obviously has a lot of interest for both squads, and Liverpool, which was last year's Premier League champion. A couple of years back, the Champions League champion. Obviously, we know the tough time that Liverpool has been having, with their defensive walls and all the injuries they're having. But still, 1 game left, and they're right in to qualify for Champions League next season. The 3 teams fighting for 2 spots remaining in Champions League. We have Fidel's Chelsea. We have FA Cup winners Leicester City, and we obviously have Liverpool. Currently, Chelsea's in 3rd place, Liverpool's in 4th, and Leicester City right now is in 5th place. Separated by 1 point. It's anybody's for grab. guys, before I get to you and I ask you which two clubs you think are going to end up in those two spots, it's great to see, drama on the last game of the season. Something to fight for, because sometimes, obviously we know that the championship, the title was 1 month ago, right? Manchester United
2 weeks
had
ago.
Manchester United was comfortably cemented as the second place squad, right? But to have this three team fight for the last two spots, man, it's something awesome. That's what I love about this table format, and European soccer, and it's always something going on. You're not only thinking about the Champions League spot, you got to worry about the other clubs fighting for European League spots, things of that nature. Unfortunately for the bottom teams, we already know who's getting regulated, so there's no fight down there. So whatever. But yeah, let me start with you this time, Aurelio. Liverpool, Leicester City, and Chelsea, man. What do those guys have to do to basically, qualify for Champions League? We know Chelsea has two ways to get it, but
Well, in that regard, you have Chelsea and Liverpool, which probably have the easier matchup. Uh, Leicester City has Tottenham,
Tottenham.
so that's going to be a harder game for them. But like I
Right.
get, anything could happen. On paper, you would say that Chelsea and Liverpool would uh would win and advance to the Champions League spot.
but but like I said, anything can happen in football,
Oh yeah,
and especially, let's not count Crystal Palace out. Crystal Palace has a formidable up front with Wilfred
Arsenal
Zaha.
just beat them 3-0.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they beat them with 2 goals in the 90th minute. They were tied up until then. But you got proven scorers, like Wilfred Zaha, Christian Benteke.
Well, I don't know if Benteke's going to play because didn't he get a red card?
Oh, that's right. But then
So that's there you go.
But then with Chelsea, you got an Aston Villa team that's kind of been up and down, but they're a formidable squad. They're not no pushover either.
Right.
No.
But I think
like I said, on paper, you would see Liverpool and Chelsea pass because I think if you're going to compare Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and the Spurs, Tottenham, we would all say Tottenham has a better team.
yeah. But the good thing about Chelsea is Chelsea has 2 shots at this.
But think about this.
Mhm.
Think about this detail. Like, okay, Man City won a championship already. Man United is already qualified to the Champions League. Who would ever thought that we would be talking about freaking third and fourth place for Champions League? I mean, come on, this is more story. This is more to talk about than the real champion of the of the Premier League or the second place of the Premier League. Like in reality, like that's not even a story anymore. That's not even something to talk about anymore. That's not even something to be proud of anymore. You know what I mean? Like the end of the season is more like this, and this is why I think. This is why I think the leagues like the Premier League or the La Liga Española, right, in Spain, or Italy, or even France are so boring because they don't have a structure to give the finishing or the end of the league a form of a gas for people to actually look forward to the end of the league, right? Like if you qualify top 4, you can go to the semifinals and then a final, right? Regardless of you finish in first, second, third, or fourth, right? So in these leagues, if you dominate, you finish first, and you could have been champion a month ago. So what are we looking forward to? Like absolutely nothing. We're just waiting for the season to be over. So now we're just looking forward to who qualifies to champions. Wow,
Yeah,
like
you
wow,
say
really?
like that, but I look at it as the formation it is. It just proves and shows the hard work you put out during the season.
I get it, and I'm all for it.
Just because you were dominant,
I'm all for it. But remember,
just put it like this: just because you were dominant and you did your due diligence to get to that number 1 spot and you win, you should be the winner. I'm like, sometimes when you play in a playoff spot, I'm like, you taking a position towards, I'm like, you did your job during the whole season to be number 1,
and then you don't win nothing.
and then you win nothing. Exactly.
And I get it, but remember what I said. Soccer is entertainment. Above anything else is entertainment. What it is now is money. It's all about money. And it should be more entertainment. Because you as a fan, when you go to the stands, you want to show. You want to be excited. You want to leave and say, man, it was worth it for me to spend $100, $200, $300 in that game. Whether it was your ticket, your drinks, your food, whatever. That's
You
all
know
I
what?
want you to mean. I mean, I need you to understand that.
But
Yeah.
you know, and it's an interesting thing that you bring up the aspect of money, obviously, because you gotta look at it from this standpoint. There's 4 teams affected by this. Not, and obviously we mentioned Leicester City, we mentioned Liverpool and Chelsea, right? But that Leicester City Tottenham game, if Leicester beats Tottenham is out of Europa League. They're
Right.
not they don't get no European matches next season. You know, um,
And
you
if
know,
Leicester loses, you
Well,
got a champions.
it's. I'm like you have to look at it like that. If Tottenham loses, you still have Everton playing Man City.
yeah.
So if they lose, those positions don't change.
Well, yeah, but Tottenham right now is 7th. I mean,
Yeah,
and then Man City,
Everton's 8th.
yeah, and but you know, Man City's doing their thing. The rest, I mean, look at the game they had against Newcastle. You know, you can
I'm
no,
just
no, no,
that's why
no, no.
I'm putting.
Yeah, yeah. I
If
understand
anything,
I understand what you're saying.
if anything, that favors my team
Yeah, obviously. I mean, but you know,
because
seventh.
we have Arsenal in 9th, and if
It's,
they win, the other two lose. It's ridiculous to say, but we get Europa League. Ooh.
yeah, but I mean, the crazy thing about it is, you know, this can affect a lot because we just mentioned Leicester City moving up the food chain, and English football, right? And we just mentioned the fact that you know that they've been constantly growing, getting better each season. For them to qualify for Champions League next season and make that extra money, that Champions League money, will help them out a lot because we know that their scouting has done a great job in identifying players to come into their squad and bring them in. You know, so I think with the added bonus of getting Champions League money and maybe even doing having a good showing in Champions League next season, Leicester City could be a big team to be reckoned with from here on out. You know, going forward. But so guys, before we move on to the next subject, who do you think is gonna which 2 of the 3 teams is gonna qualify for the Champions League?
It's gotta be Chelsea, bro. It's
Chelsea
gotta
and
be
who?
Chelsea.
I
And you
already
know
said
what?
mine.
And you know what? I'm gonna put it to you. I think Leicester City is gonna come through.
So Liverpool's out.
Liverpool's gonna struggle because they need to. I mean, it's meant to be, bro. It's meant to be. Liverpool's gonna go to Europa and probably they're gonna do good out there, but it's not meant to be. Chelsea
So
and Leicester. Let's go.
all right, Aurelia, who do you got?
I already said it's going to be Chelsea and Liverpool.
Chelsea and Liverpool. So Leicester City's out.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's gonna be the mess up thing. You know, I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna go Leicester City, Liverpool.
Mm.
and not just to mess with Fidel, because
Hate him, bro.
because it's one of those things that Chelsea has 2 opportunities at this: either qualified by the league or qualified by winning the Champions League. So, and it's going to be one of those things that if they don't hit it on either one of them, it's going to be a shame for those guys. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But moving on from one country to another, man. Obviously, we have a big race this Saturday, and for those who don't know, we're gonna try to live stream it this Saturday. Two games going on. The battle for the La Liga title between the 2 Madrid clubs, Atletico and Real Madrid. Who's gonna win La Liga this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, our time locally? You see me here. Obviously, I'm a Barcelona fan. You see the background, though. You see the Atletico Madrid jersey. The best team in Madrid. The best team in Madrid, for those who don't know. Guys, it's again another race that came down to the last game.
That's it.
I mean, what else can you ask for, especially for a title on the line? Fidel, I'm gonna go with you first, man. Atletico Real, easy question.
Easy question, baby. I know I got it. Before I say that, though, Samairi Campos just said something very interesting. He said, if United wins, does it not open a spot up for the English Premier League? It sure does, doesn't it?
Oh, you're talking about the Europa? No, if Man City wins the Champions
Europa League.
No, Europa League.
The Europa League.
No.
Doesn't it open up a spot?
If United, he's talking about United. He's not talking about Man City.
No, it doesn't open up a spot.
It doesn't.
It gets given to I gotta look up the rules, but I was looking at this to see who, because I remember it was one of those situations where I think it was the Arsenal Chelsea final where we were fighting for a Champions League spot, but we had the obviously the Europa League if we won the Europa League, but y'all beat us that year. That if we didn't win it and we didn't qualify, who would the that spot go to, because Chelsea had already qualified for Champions League, but they gave
Right,
it to them.
right.
They gave it to a club in another country.
Okay, well that makes sense. I get it. It's all about control. But let me tell you this: we're talking about Atletico and Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. Like it's just a sensation. It's like this should have been over a long time ago. And when I mean it should have been over, it should have been over on behalf of three teams. Atletico should have had this a long time ago. Barcelona should have had this a long time ago. Real Madrid should have had this a long time ago. Yes, all three teams have made mistakes. So whose is it to win it? Obviously, Atletico. Nobody else. They're the only ones that could screw this up big time. And why? Because if Barcelona and Real Madrid are having the worst year ever when it comes to opportunity to win the league, Atletico, man, shame on you if you don't win the league. So I'm pushing on you. So if you don't win the league, shame on you. And I'm saying it with deep heart because you should have won the league so long ago. And the same goes for the other two teams, but they didn't take advantage of their mistakes or the other team's mistakes. It's all about you depending on what you do, not on what others do. Because right now, Real Madrid is depending on what Atletico does. And that's not a good sign. So
Aurelio, oh,
it's Atletico.
Aurelio, same question to you, man. Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid?
I'll give it to Atletico. I'm with Fidel. I guess something like that should have been finished 2-3 weeks ago. They went through a slump. They went through, I think it was a whole month of a slump that made Barcelona and Real Madrid catch up to them. That one opportunity that Real Madrid did beat them was within a point, and all they had to do is win a couple easy games, and they didn't. They ended up tying those games, so that's shame on them. But just seeing who plays who, I'd give it to Atletico.
Man, it's crazy to think, what different scenarios could have happened, to open this up a bit more to maybe make it a 14 race. Because, Sevilla had the opportunities, man. Barcelona had their opportunities to be league leaders. Obviously Real Madrid has had their chances too. And yet overall, with everything that's gone on with Atletico, with them stumbling to the finish line, they're still luckily ahead and then on top of the table. Obviously, I'm going Atletico. There's no love here for Real Madrid. I'm sorry, never will be. But it's going to be a crazy, crazy Saturday morning, and I know we're going to have our other co-host, Little Man, screaming and yelling and whatever. The only funny thing here would be if both teams lose and Atletico ends up winning it just because of points.
That would be dramatic. That would be dramatic for real.
That would be very dramatic, but you also got to think. You also got to think in part that Villarreal is not a pushover. They're fighting for something as well. They're fighting for Europa League positioning next year. I know our other co-host Little Man thinks that they're looking ahead to the Europa League final against Manchester United, which obviously that gets them Champions League qualification if they win it. But still, it's one thing before the other, right? And they have to qualify for Europa League first. And then obviously, Valladolid.
Villarreal.
Yeah.
Valladolid.
Valladolid. There you go. I'm sorry. They're fighting to stay in the first division. If they win, they give themselves a good opportunity. Obviously, they still need some help, but they're giving themselves a good opportunity to stay up promoted. So we'll see, man. Obviously, us three are taking Atletico. I know if our fourth member was here, he'd be taking Real Madrid. So we'll give him, the Real Madrid vote. So 3-1. Guys, obviously we're the English show is a little bit abbreviated. Different topics sometimes because depending on, the audience and what they're looking for and what we're trying to give out and what's going on in soccer. But a new segment that we're going to try to do because, I've talked to a couple other people, about the show in English, and they want a little bit more local taste. So we're going to have this local minute that I'm going to go through real quick, and obviously when we talk about local, we're talking Houston Dynamo, we're talking Houston Dash, and we're talking about, this big soccer events that happen here locally in Houston and which is going to happen here a lot locally here in Houston.
New owner, baby. New owner. Let's go. So
big news. The Houston Dynamo have been sold for $400 million. Now, that's not the whole club. The majority stake, which was owned by Gabriel Brenner, Somewhere between 51 to 60% of the club is what he owns. I'm not too sure what the percentage is, but that percentage is going for $400 million. So with that being said, that means the Dynamo have an evaluation of somewhere close to 800 to 900 million dollars. Which is a crazy valuation. Especially thinking of other clubs around the world. But this is America. This is the land of capitalism and all this good stuff. But whatever. But the great thing here, as a Dynamo fan, we're getting sold. Now, sometimes the grass isn't always green on the other side. We're hoping that this guy, his name, hopefully the savior of Houston soccer, Ted Siegel, New York real estate
yes,
mogul over there based out of New York, is coming in here. He's going to purchase the amount for $400 million, and we'll see. Hopefully, he has a vision for the club and wants to bring in big players, spend a little cash, show some good quality on the pitch for the Houston Dynamo. The Dash are involved in his deal as well, so he will be owner of the Houston Dash as well. And those ladies, speaking of those ladies, they have a big tournament coming up in August. They're playing the ICC tournament because they won the Champions Cup. So they'll be playing in August, between August 12th and August 16th, FC Barcelona, who just came off winning the Women's Champions League and the Women's La Liga.
Yeah,
they're gonna play Lyon out of France, who just came off winning League One in the women's. And obviously Portland Thorn, who just won the last season's fall version of the NWSL tournament. It's a great match. It's a great lineup. 4 champions to become a champion. And it's a great showing for the women's sport of soccer as well, because obviously there's going to be a lot of eyes, and it's going to show a lot of recognition to the Dash and to Portland Thorn, who are here locally. The tournament will be played in Portland. Unfortunately, I wish it was here in Houston. It would be so awesome to see those 4 teams battle it out. But basically, it's going to be the European teams versus the European teams, and the Dash versus the Portland Thorn, and then the winners of those will play in the final, and then the losers will play the third place match. That's August 12th to 16th, the Women's ICC tournament in August. And that's not the only thing going on here in Houston as far as tournaments. We have the Gold Cup that's been announced. Texas is going to be a huge player in the Gold Cup this year. BBVA, Houston, Austin, and Dallas will be participants in as far as venue locations for the Gold Cup. Houston, BBVA will be hosting the Group D, which includes Honduras, Panama, Qatar, and I can't think of the 14. Might be a qualifying team. So that would be the group, the teams playing here in BBVA.
Qatar's going to feel right at home.
They will. And NRG Stadium will be hosting one of the semifinals. So we have a lot of soccer coming up here locally, as far as Dynamo, Dash, and international soccer. Guys, are y'all looking forward to any of these matches? Looking forward to any of these tournaments? What say you, Fidel?
Definitely, bro. You can't even talk about the women's soccer. It's so exciting, bro. Listen, a lot of people don't even think about this, but women's soccer is like the biggest thing there is right now.
Yeah.
Forget about everything else. Forget about English Premier League. Forget about Euros. Forget about anything else. Women's soccer is growing and is the next biggest thing. And one of the things that I value about it is, listen, some of these women are not getting paid fairly, like these professional levels. If you think about Barcelona winning its Champions Leagues, they produce what, like $480,000 of Champions League money. And then if a Champions League team wins the Champions League, they produce over $50 million or something like that, 25 million. I don't know. It's a huge gap. Yeah. Women are in the fight, and we got to support them, because what they have is great for sport, is entertainment, is economically good for stability, everything else. And the Dash, they're in for a fight. They're in for a wake-up call. MLS teams need to get ready for this kind of tournaments. And it's important that we have this kind of tournaments, because we need to value soccer in our country. If we're going to be the World Cup champions as a U.S., we need to be able to build teams in our own country as a league to compete against those teams, against the foreign teams, like such as Barcelona, the Western Champions League, whatever you may call it, right? Because it is what it is. You're not going to bring Messi over here to face the Dynamo, because you already know who's going to win it. That's not right. you got to stand up to yourself and you got to be ready, competitive. Correct?
Our friend who's joining us on the chat, Sama, he says, who won the Women's Champions League this year? For me, obviously Barca. And who's the team that they killed? We killed
4-0 Chelsea.
We killed Chelsea. But it's great, man. I like the global viewership that it's going to get for the Dash, man. Imagine if the Dash end up in the final versus Barcelona for this inaugural cup or whatever they're going to call it, whatever. That's just more free marketing and promotion for the Dash. Where it's gonna bring eyes to the Dash, because the NWSL, even though it is one of the better leagues for women's soccer, along with the Women's Super League in England, and I think those two are the 1 and 2 as far as like top to bottom, right? But it's gonna be a great thing for the Dash to be able to promote the brand, the players, and show the skill level that they have. Hopefully they have a good showing. And also, we got to keep in mind, even though we know that Barcelona and Lyon are have outstanding players, they'll be in preseason mode, and the Dash and Thorn will be in regular season mode. So, maybe a little bit of an advantage. But guys, obviously we're coming to the end of the show. We appreciate you guys. Obviously it's late nights. We're going to have a busy summer this summer, man. We're gonna have a little bit of more shows, a little bit more talking points, more things going on. Maybe a little bit more live shows at different locations,
even one-on-ones, right?
More one-on-ones. We're gonna do some different things. But guys, obviously, with that being said, we're gonna call it an end today. Guys, before we go, anything you want to say to Sama and to the guys who are gonna watch the show later on?
Go ahead, Aurelio.
Well, just want to thank Sama, for being here for both shows. That means a lot to all of us, I'm pretty sure, and to everybody out there, man. Just we're trying to get better at this. Just hit like, subscribe, tell a friend, family member, and write something down that you would want us to talk about.
For sure. Fidel?
Definitely, man. Show some love, man. Hit us a like, a subscribe, share, whatever you want. And again, for all those guys who are watching us, we're not professionals, man. We're just like you guys. We just love talking about soccer. And it doesn't matter what's going on, as long as it's going on right now in our daily life. As far as soccer, we're going to talk about it. And that's what we're going to bring on the show. If you guys got any suggestions as far as us doing this in a bar or together at some place, let us know. We're willing to take on the bet and at the same time work on it. But we love you guys' support, and just give us some love, and we'll be there for whatever it is. La Banca Podcast will be present this summer during the Europa League. I mean, the Europa Champions. I'm sorry, the Europa qualifiers, Euro 2020. I'm sorry, and also the Copa America and the Copa Oro. We're gonna be present. We're gonna be interviewing you guys. We're gonna be getting to know each other one-on-one. So be present, man. You never know if we're gonna run into you in Dallas, Austin, here in Houston, or Las Vegas for the final. You never know.
Yeah, guys, for sure. Appreciate all the support. Like I said, for those who don't know, catch us Saturday, 10:50, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be live watching La Liga final. Real Madrid versus Villarreal. Atletico Madrid versus Real. I don't know why this name is escaping me. Thank you, Aurelio. Whatever you said. But yeah, guys, thank you for the support again. And like I said,
that's the old team from your legend.
I know. El Mágico, whatever. But regardless, guys.
Cuauhtémoc.
Oh, that's true too. But guys, we'll see you next week. Have fun. And please check us out whenever you can.
Let's go.